Thing is, it gives you room off the tee and gives you room with that. Like, I think every shot, it gives you room. But then if you miss it, it's very, very penal. You know, you got these, you know, the fescue around the bunkers. You've got this Bermuda rough off the side of the fairways that is very clumpy, and you know, you can get some really, really bad lies in it. So, you know, it's an unusual golf course the way it's laid out as well. You got five par threes, 3 par 5s, and you got the drivable par for 6th hole. So you got 9 holes where, you know, more or less you're going to be hitting either off a tee or off a fairway into a green if you lay up in a par 5. Or so, like for me, it's like, you know, can I get 9 good tee shots away? You know, if I can get 9 good tee shots away, keep 6s off my card, I think that's really the key to this place. And you know, once you do get it in play.
You hit 5 wood up there, short right of the green. You laid up with a 4-iron?
5-iron.
5-iron. Awkward wedge number over there from that left side with a really shallow green. Like, watching you chip, you spend a ton of time chipping around that side. Is there any pin on this hole? I like that we're walking straight up a hill, by the way. Is there any pin on that hole where you don't foresee yourself getting it up there short right of the green?
No, because I think, like, you know, so it's a 5 wood. You know, it plays 20 yards downhill. It's a 5 wood for me into that little gap. And the area to hit it into there is very similar to the area you're hitting it into in the next hole on 7 with a 5 wood as well, the par 3. So, you know, really nice, like, specific trunk that you aim at off that tee. And if I can just hit a 5 wood at that, I think that's a perfect shot for all pins. I mean, okay, that right pin, it could be a little tricky, but you know, you get a good tee shot away, and the most you're going to leave yourself is a 15-footer for birdie.
Right, exactly. You hit a couple wedges that came up a little short there when you were in the practice round. Then finally the third one you hit was great. It's just such an awkward angle. Kind of reminds me of the 15th hole that you're going to play here in a little bit. Like, there's so many great little holes with serpentine greens. A lot of people have been describing this golf course kind of like an Australian style. Is there anything you'd like in this place too?
There's definitely a bit of sand belt to it. I think there's a bit of Seminole in it. I think there's a bit of Shinnecock in it. It's like, it's hard to compare it to any one golf course, but I think there's a mixture of quite a few golf courses in here. And I mean, look, when we get to major championships, it's a real treat to play places like this. Brookline last year, Shinnecock, Marion, all these great places. It's going to be really interesting to see how guys handle it, because, you know, there's no history of how people play it. Or, I mean, obviously we had the Walker Cup and the Pac-12 here, but you know, it's a little different playing a U.S. Open.
And it's fun coming to a place everybody likes to put, what do you think the winning score is going to be? And it's nice coming to a place that has no history and just let guys go play, and the winning score doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter at the end of the day. And someone asked me that a couple holes ago, and I said, I actually have no clue.
Right.
It could be 4 over, it could be 4 under, it could be, I mean, depends on how they set the golf course up, how firm it's going to get. I mean, I think there's a massive range here. I think that's a really good sign about a golf course as well, when you feel like there's going to be a lot of separation in the field. And I think that this golf course is going to do that this week.
Can I go back to 8, the par 5 for a second? You hit 3 wood off the tee the first time, and it was down there at the very end, kind of in that little collection area. You dropped a ball back to play your second shot. Are you foreseeing, with conditions similar today, you'll hit 5 wood again off that tee? So it's a lot of non-driver holes for you out here.
It is, yeah. So you got those 3 holes in a row on the front 9, 6, 7, 8 that are all 5 woods theoretically, and you've got a par 4, a par 3, and a par 5. Which is sort of cool. But yeah, I mean, like, with the way the fairways are running, like my 5 wood down that 8th hole is going 300 yards, and then, you know, you leave yourself a 4-iron into that green, and you're taking some of the trouble out of play with your tee shot by doing that. And then it gives you an option whether you lay up or whether you go for it or not. It just depends how you're feeling.
Right. So many little pockets on these greens. The bunkering on this golf course is incredible. And we're looking here at the 10th, waiting for the group of Canadians. That was pretty incredible last week. I think that was the second, or the best outcome. You would have been the second best outcome, winning your 3rd straight. But did you watch the celebration? Did you see Adam Hadwin get murdered by that security guard?
Unbelievable. I saw Adam yesterday, and I was like, you feeling okay?
Is he doing all right?
He's doing okay. A couple of bruised ribs, but he's okay.
But, like, I think this golf course is so deceptive. Obviously, we have yardage books and we know what the numbers are, but I think the beauty of this place is that it deceives you with everything.
So that, going back to the 6th hole, you're talking about that really awkward wedge number. Like, it's more of a depth perception thing. Like Harry said to me, it's 70 yards, and I'm like, it doesn't feel like 70 yards. I think there's so much space around this golf course that I feel like it really... So you got to really trust your yardages. There's a ton of approach shots like this where you can only see the top half of the flag. So you really just got to get your, I'll do a lot of work after this and just get my numbers dialed in on, the quad or TrackMan or whatever, just to make sure that like I'm fully committed and knowing, what I'm hitting each number, or what club I'm hitting each number, and that's the important thing this week too.
And with your length and as many wedges as you have coming into a lot of these greens to these narrow little pockets, spin control is going to be massive. What are you doing? When you're looking at quad or TrackMan, are you looking at spin and trying to hit different shots to be able to add more spin or take more spin off?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I feel like I've got like three shots with each wedge. I put an extra wedge in the bag last week just to try, or at Memorial actually, just to get used to it, because I felt like going 4 wedges was going to be good for me. So the fact that I have like 12 yardages with those 4 wedges, I think I've got all my bases covered. And then with those 3 numbers for each wedge, obviously the longer one's going to spin more, the shorter one's going to spin less. So, and there's a bit of overlap there too. So if I need to take spin off or put spin on, I'm sort of able to do it.
What are your lofts on these wedges?
So 60, 54, 50, 46.
Cool. So like the 56 you hit full is similar to a 3/4 50 degree.
Yeah, exactly.
And you even have a third one, so you have 3 different shots for each number. It makes it easier when you're looking at a shot. How do I want to spin this? Where do I want to land it?
And even like, how far is this ball going to skip forward? So, that little, say that 3/4 shot's going to skip forward a lot more than the full shot is. And it's just really making sure that you're dialed in with that stuff, because it is a very exacting test, and you got to be very precise with those shots.
Like I was saying before, you have so much going on around you. It's got to be nice coming out at 6:45, playing a practice round by yourself. I've got so much respect for you and your time. You are the man.
Thank you.
Will always
Appreciate
be.
it.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.